Hey there, fourth graders, it's Mrs. Long, and I am here to introduce you to your math course for fourth grade. All right, first of all, I'm going to go over some supplies that you do need to have on hand for your math course. The first, just like with all of your other courses, is a composition notebook or a spiral notebook. You want to have a place where you can follow along in the videos and write down important vocabulary, where you can write down practice problems or sample problems, and where you can work out math problems. So you want to make sure that you have this. And as you're working through this, you want to start right at the beginning, and each day you're just going to write the date at the top and then the topic of the lesson. So for example, today's date as I'm making this video is August 4th, so I write August 4th right here, and the topic of this video happens to be lesson introduction. So if I were taking notes on this, I would write lesson introduction right here, and then I would write my notes on this page. And if you need to go onto the back or whatever, you can, however many pages it takes. And then for the next lesson, you're going to do the same thing. So like, let's say your first lesson is about place value. So you're going to write place value, you're going to write the date of the lesson, and then you're going to write down any notes that you have for that lesson. And that's going to help keep you organized. So that way, if you need to go back, like let's say maybe you need to do a relearning opportunity later on in the semester, or as we're getting close to one of your progress monitorings, you want to review what you've been learning, you can go back and be like, oh, I had a hard time with place value, so I'm going to go find the ones that are labeled with place value and look back over those notes. Okay, so this is going to be a really helpful tool for you. You want to make sure you have this. You also want to make sure that you have multiplication flashcards. You do need to have your multiplication facts memorized in fourth grade. Almost every standard that we cover in fourth grade math deals with multiplication in some format, and research shows that if you have those facts memorized and you're able to recall them quickly, that you are going to have a much easier time learning the new math skills than if you're sitting there trying to count on your fingers or figure them out. You're also more likely to make mistakes if you don't have them memorized. So we want to make sure that we work on that. We have them memorized. We're going to have some different ways that you can do that that I'm going to be talking about as we get into your math course. So don't worry about that yet, but right now the flashcards are great. What's great about flashcards is you can keep them in your car. So like, let's say you're going to your soccer practice, you can sit there and practice your flashcards in your car. You can use them, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the game Headbands, but it's where you like have a word on your head and somebody else is trying to make you guess what that word is. You can do that with your flashcards. You can hold up the flashcard and or your learning coach can hold the flashcard and you're trying to guess what it is and whatever. You can do that. There's lots of different games that you can play, but really just repetition and daily practice. I'm going to say that again. Daily practice is what you need. You have to know these facts for fourth grade. Okay, it's very, very important. The other math supply that was on your school supply list was to have fraction strips. Those aren't going to come into play until second semester. We're going to be doing a lot with fractions, but they are incredibly important to get. So if you want to go ahead and get them now so that you don't forget about them, and then you can just put them someplace safe until second semester, until January. But we are going to be using those fraction strips quite a bit, and you're going to be really thankful to have them as you move into the upper grades as well. And so if you have any questions about any of those supplies, let me know. Of course, also you need a pencil. We do math in pencil because you want to be able to erase if you need to. And then for our live lessons, you do need to have a dry erase board and marker, because that is how you're going to hold up your work. If I hold up something that I've written in pencil, it's really hard to read. And so I want to be able to clearly see what you're doing. A dry erase board like this one back here, I don't want to knock everything over, is perfect. Okay, because you can write on it, I'll be able to read it, you can hold it up to the camera, I can see it easily, and then you can erase it and then do the next problem. Because the key in your math live lessons is that you will be doing problems with me. It's not me talking to you. I've already done fourth grade math. In fact, I've done it a whole lot because I've taught it for 12 years, or 13 years rather. But it is important that you are practicing along with me. And that's the same in your videos as well. And that's where you're going to be writing in your notebook. Now let's go on to the lesson entry pages. This is something that I'm super duper excited about and that I've worked really hard on. Every single lesson intro page is able to be done in and of itself. You can do the lesson intro page and then you can complete the assignment at the end of the lesson. On your lesson intro pages, you'll see that there's at least one instructional video. Some of them have two, depending on the topic, where I am going over the topic. And it would be just like you're sitting in my classroom with me and I'm teaching you how to do that skill. Okay, so it's really great because it's giving you that classroom experience. The other cool thing is you can watch those videos as many times as you need to. You don't have to just watch it once and then move on like you would in a regular classroom. If you're like, oh, I kind of don't get that, you can do it again. You can watch it again, and then you can get that information so that you understand. All right. There's also a second video in most of the lessons where there's it's called a teacher think aloud, where there's a teacher who's made the video who is going over some practice problems from your math workbook, and they're showing you how they would solve them. And so that kind of gives you an idea of how to do your math practice problems. And then at the bottom of each page, you will also notice that it has practice problems from your math workbook. So you're going to go to your math workbook and you're going to complete those practice problems in there. Sometimes in your math workbook, there's not enough room to work out the problems, and that's where, again, your composition notebook is going to come in handy, because you can use your composition notebook to solve the problems, and then you can just write your answers in your math workbook. And then again, when you check in with your learning coach, you're like able to say, like, here's the notes that I took today, and here's the work that I did in my math workbook, and they can help to make sure that you really are understanding the topic. Okay, so that's going to be really important, and I hope that that is very helpful to you. Research has shown that watching these videos and engaging with these lesson intro pages and the content that's on them really does help to boost your success in the course. So I want to make sure that you are doing that every single day. Don't skip it. Don't be like, oh, I'm just going to go click, 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 click through the lessons. Because I want you to stop and think, do you think that that's going to help you to be successful if you're just clicking through the lessons? It's not. Okay, you're not learning anything by doing that. The whole idea is that you are learning these new skills, and I want to help you to be successful, but you have to help yourself by doing what I'm instructing you to do. Okay, so that's going to be your math course. I look forward to working with you in math this year, and if you have any questions, just let me know.